Good morning, my friends. It's so nice to have you here with me again today. It's a cold, blustery day out there, but the sun's shining. I hope your weather is good. I am going to work on a trifold tag, large tag to go along the edge of my journal page. I have a piece of blue cardstock here, and what I'm going to do to begin it is I'm going to fold this approximately in thirds. So I'll bring this side over and this side up, and then until they meet each other on the edge here and on the edge here. And then I will, that needs to go in a little bit, crease it, just like so. And I will take my bone folder, wherever I may have left it, there we go, and I'll give that a good crease, both sides, and then I'll turn it inside out and crease it again, this way and this way. The next step, which I have prepared ahead, is to take my tag and ink all the edges, front and back. For this journal, I am using Distress Oxide Vintage Photo. Now I want to make my tabs up here, or my corners. I'm going to cut my corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of eye up, and this is like accordion style. So when I fold it now, I'm going to fold accordion style. I am off on this side a little bit. Quite a little bit. I didn't notice that when I was doing this. It's going to be okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take and I'm going to snip that corner. I'm going to hold on to it, and then I'm going to flip it right over, and I'm going to snip it again over here. Yes. So it's off. It's okay. Then I need to ink up these edges where I had snipped them. Okay. So that's done. I want to layer on the front of each of these either some music paper or dictionary paper. I kind of like the music paper because I like the pink and the silver snowflakes better than over here. So I'm going to go with the music paper. And if I fold this just in half, my paper's old, so it's ripping some. But I'm going to glue it all down, so we're going to be okay. And instead of tearing, because I don't want it to tear crazy on where it ripped a little bit. Okay, that will be okay. This side, these two sides will be for journaling. Now you're going to have to do, let's glue this down and then I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So we need to rip off a little because it's too long. I want to ink up around the edges carefully. This is fragile, all the way around, and I only have to do the one side because I am gluing it down, like so. I'm going to be putting a pocket on here, so the spot that doesn't have any snowflakes I'll put at the bottom. And to glue this down, I am going to use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick. Scrap piece of paper here. Being very careful, again, not to rip this paper any further. I'm not being very careful. And put that right in place, like so. Now where it's above, up here, we will just take and snip that off. These two will be for journaling. So when this is folded like this, and it unfolds, you don't want to put anything on these sides. So we're going to flip it over. This is the side that we're going to put more of our music paper on. These two sides will be for journaling. The back of that one and the middle one. The middle one is always for journaling. And then the back of the one that we put the music paper on is for journaling. And you do the opposite end. So let's get some glue on this. Oops, and I didn't tear any off the bottom. Let me get some torn off the bottom. And I didn't ink it up. Now it's too late. I'd ruin my applicator if I tried to put it on now. And we'll put this right in place, right down through the center, and snip off our top corners. Now for the journaling sides, I could put some gesso on there. I could leave them as it is and just stamp my lines on there. But I think I want to add some coffee stained copy paper. Better yet, I have some newsprint paper. I will probably, let's see, get an idea for the size and just tear it. I want it to be a little bit smaller than what my tag is in width and then in height. So on the bottom, we're just going to take off a little, and then we'll snip the top. So let me get, I need 4 of these. And then of course they all need the bottom shortened on them a little bit. So they're light enough paper, I can stack them together to do this and do it all at one time. And this went a little too crooked for me, so I'm just going to straighten that up a little. And then I do need to ink around the edge of all of these, which is a little hard to do because they're so thin. You just have to, and we only have to do one side because it's going to be glued down. And then I will use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick to glue these down. Here we have all of our sides with our paper for journaling on. I want to put a pocket on each of these fronts of this tag. And I'm going to make the pocket out of cardstock. I have some pink cardstock. And for size, let's go with here. So I'm going to go cut 2 pockets. What I did was I did them they came to 3.5 inches wide, and then I just divided my paper in half, so I had 2 pockets. I am going to tear this down because that's just too tall for me. That's better height there. And I'll do this one accordingly also. And then I'm going to ink up around these. So if you haven't figured out by now, our 2, well, we have more than 2 colors, but our 2 main colors are blue and pink. And we have silver, and when I put the paint and the spray and then the gesso on my cleanup papers, I ended up with some purple in there with the pink and the blue mixing. So we have several colors, but they're nice bright colors for a nice dreary gray winter day. Now I need to decorate my 2 pockets. So I'll put the tag aside and concentrate on the 2 pockets. Of course, we're going to add some snowflakes to them. I want to use some of this netting paper here. It was by Magenta, and it is a Maruyama paper. The baby blue, this one's the pink, but the blue was 4001. They come in 12 by 12 size. So I have stenciled these with snowflakes, and I'm going to cut a couple that will fit my pocket. You can't tear this stuff. That just is not an option. There we go. That looks pretty. Take a little bit off this one. On that side, I kind of made it a little bit wider because I wanted to bring my snowflakes over, and I did the same with this one, so I need to take some off this also. Save these little pieces for something. So I like that on there. This actually needs a little bit more cut off too. There, that looks pretty. Gives that some good texture. Now we have different kinds of snowflakes that I made. If you remember in my last video, I did some chipboard ones. I did some paper ones out of checkbook stubs. And then of course I have these are too big, but they're pretty. I have my crocheted ones, so we'll put those back because they're too big. And I'm actually thinking that these ones are too big also, unless I use the little ones. But I like the chipboard on them the best, so we're going to go with the chipboard. We're going to go with blue. We could do the blue or the silver. Let's see how the silver looks. I like them both. I'm going to go with blue. It needs more. We're not done with that yet, so not too much, but we're going to tear a little bit of dictionary paper and put behind it. But we don't want to hide this Maruyama paper here because it's so pretty. So we'll just tear a strip and put that there with that on that one, and the same over here with this one. And we're going to stitch around them with a sewing machine. Fibers, you need some more texture. I have this piece of silver paper, and it's embossed paper. It came that way, actually. And let's add a piece of that in here, there, and that gets our silver color in there too. That looks good. All right, so I'm going to glue these down, and then I'm going to take them to my sewing machine and stitch around them along with this big tag, and then I'll be back to see what else we're going to do with this. So I will return. I have sewn all the way around my pocket and the tag on all 6 sides. So my pocket is attached. And now I've cut some tags. They are 2 3/4 by 7. And I want to layer them with this paper. This paper was some cleanup paper when I was stenciling all of my stencils onto all of my different papers, like I showed you in that last video. And I had a snowflake here and a snowflake there. And so what I did in the end was I just took the whole thing and covered the whole thing with snowflakes. So I don't know if you can pick them out or not, but it's just white on white. And I think it would be real pretty on this pink. So I'm going to get some of this torn to size and layer this onto the front of my tags. I will just eye this up and get it so that it's a little bit smaller than the width and the height of my tag, and hopefully approximately the same distance from the top to the sides. Oh, it's a little hard to rip with this big long piece here. So let's take it and tear it from the other end. That might work better. And I will need 2 of them. Okay, so we'll set that aside. We'll take our tags. And that works pretty good. So let's take some off this bottom edge that doesn't have any snowflakes on it and lay it on here and measure that up to about there. Save this piece for another project and take this one and do the same thing. And then ink all of these up. Now you will also see on my tag, I did stamp my journaling spots with my line stamp, which is this. To get this look, I don't know that you would be able to find this stamp. It is, although, by Art Impressions, and it's Q2310. But you can do this same effect with corrugated cardboard just by tearing off one layer off the top of your cardboard, and then underneath you're going to have something that's like this that you can use to stamp with. So I've stamped those. I'm going to ink up the edges of these, front and back, and then I'm going to stamp the back, and then I'll be back. All right, so I have them inked up, both of the tags, front and back, and I have also inked up my papers, and I'm going to glue those on with Yoo-Hoo glue, a glue stick, Yoo-Hoo glue stick. There we go. For these tags, I'd like to add some angels. I will list below. So far, I haven't used anything like digitals, but these are digitals, and I'll list them below where I got them. So that would be small enough for there. And so with that one, they could actually be cut down a little too. I could go darker even. I kind of like the blue. So let's go with those ones. This one, they both say Merry Christmas. One says Merry Christmas, the other says a Joyful Christmas. This one I'm going to cut down just a little. And as I cut these digitals out, sat one night and cut all my digitals and the ephemera that I have, and then I also inked them all up. Okay, so we have that. It's too bare. I don't want to hide my snowflakes, but yet this isn't good enough. So, and being that it already says Merry Christmas on there, it kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense to add more words. So let's see what we can put there. How about just some layers? I have some wax paper with some lines on it. You could still see through that to the snowflakes. I think we're going to try some of that, and maybe something a little bit more. I'm liking that so far. how about if we just add a couple of these snowflakes, these confetti snowflakes around. So let's get this glued together and then add some snowflakes to it. This is a little heavier paper, so I'm going to add my art glitter glue to I'm going to use my art glitter glue to add these on. I probably will get a bowl to put these in so they don't end up all over the place. Yes, I think some of these would be nice on here. Now I want to have these snowflakes above our pocket, or if I do have some below, I got to make sure they are glued down all the way, because when they go into the pocket, they could get ripped off if they're not. See, just like our paper here needs some more added glue onto it. Let's put one up here for now. The pocket needs to be loosened up a little bit. That's better. I wanted to put them down here, but let's see if we can get them glued on enough so that they'll stay. And I'm just using the art glitter glue for this, mainly because it has such a nice fine tip on it. Yeah, if we get that glued down, that'll be okay. So I am going to do the tedious job of adding some snowflakes. Well, before I do that, let's take both of these and put our eyelet on the top. So we're going to need a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eyelets, silver eyelets. I have better luck when I do these if I have a little extra paper up here, because this is a little bit wide here on the eyelet just to go through one piece of cardstock. So I will find, I think, some of this silver paper that I put on our bigger tag, and I'm going to make a scrap page tab. Just like that, and that'll go over the top like this to put our eyelet on. Let's ink up around the edge of that. That's going to go up here, and I leave it, I could put it right down on the edge of my tag here. I'd like to leave it up like maybe less than 1/4 of an inch. I take my memory keepers and I'm going to use my 3/16 inch punch and punch a hole right up here. I did not stitch around these tags, did I? Okay, so before I put these on, I'm going to go stitch around the tags. I'll be back. All right, that's better. Now we can put our page tabs, our tag tabs on. 3/16 inch hole. Get it below the stitching. I don't want to punch here on the stitching. I want to get it below. You could glue these down to hold them in place if you want to. It might be easier. And then take our eyelet and put it in. Turn our punch over and give it a crimp. Just like that. It will swivel. If you don't like it swiveling, then add a little bit of glue underneath. So there's one. And I am going to do this now to the other 4. All right, all the page tabs are on. And let's figure out what we're going to use for our fibers in here. We have some silver wire that won't add a lot of dimension. We'll just get a piece, we'll fold that in half, put it through. And just like that, and we've got a little bit of string at the top of our tag that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to add this to all 5 of my eyelets. Now I have my blue snowflakes, the chipboard ones, and I'm going to put them on here, and I'm going to use some 3-in-1 glue on the back side to glue them down. And they needed to have a little bit of glitz to them, so I have some Diamond Stickles glitter glue by Ranger, and I'm going to add some dots to my snowflakes. That looks good. Set this aside. Now I have my confetti snowflakes. And if you remember, when I was talking about adding these to the page, I was worried about them getting caught in the pocket when I went to close the pocket. So I think what I'm going to do is just add like 2 or maybe 3 to the top part, and then I'll add some glitter glue to the bottom, and then we'll solve that problem of having something glitzy on our tag that won't interfere with our pocket. Once the glitter glue is dry, it'll be fine. So we'll just add 3 to each of these tags of the confetti. And then we'll add some glitter glue drops down here. We can add some up here on our berries too, a little bit of glitter glue. Looks pretty. Maybe around the cross. Here. I think our tags are glitzy enough now. So we'll set those aside and let them dry. And we need to figure out which page we're going to add this to our journal. I am thinking, since it has the music paper on it, let me get the signature that has the music page. Whether that'll be heavy enough paper, probably not. We need to use some paper that's sturdy enough to hold that tag. It would have been nice to have it on this music paper, but I'm afraid it's too light. So our other options are the mixed media paper. We could use the book paper here. This isn't quite so old and fragile, and it's folded in half, so it would be a good place to attach our tag like this. Now I cannot attach the tag right now because my glitter glue is wet. All right, so my glitter glue is all dry, and I have come to the conclusion that I am going to put this tag, this trifold tag, on my page that has some jelly print and some book paper. The jelly print was too wide with the book paper together. The whole thing was too wide for my journal. So I folded the jelly print over, and then I want to attach my tag, just this front part, to this jelly print part of the page. And I decided to fold it in half again like this, and that makes it nice and stable, I think. What I'm going to do is I am going to glue this part from here to here down onto my tag, and then that will create a hinge, and this part I will leave open so it can be opened up to journal on. So that is what I want to do. I am going to use my art glitter glue, and I have my tag here in place, so I know that this is as far as I want to go with my glue. I am going to glue the whole area, not just the edges. Let's get this down, and then for here I want to go this far because anything beyond doesn't have anything to glue to. So let's get this on. That ought to hold it. Glue that right in place, just like that. I have a fold down here that wants to keep folding up, just like that. And that creates the hinge for this page. This I folded in too far, maybe? Yes. So I'm going to turn this way so I can see what I'm doing here. I have to shorten this up a little bit because it was too close to the fold, and so it was catching. So I want to bring it back to about here. And then that'll give this room there to fold over like that. So our tag is attached to here. We can journal here. We can flip this open and do some more journaling there. And then we close it like that. Then when we open the other side, we have room to journal here. And then this is when it's closed. And then it pulls out like this for journaling here. So our tags that I have made are also dry. And I put some glitter glue down here so that didn't look quite so bare, and then to balance it out, I put a little up here too. So the tags should not have a problem with sliding down in our little pocket like that. And then on the other side, we'll put the other one. And slide that down in. And our tags are just small enough so that our music paper reaches out beyond the tag, and short enough so that it doesn't interfere with the page tab up here. And I think that adds some really nice color to this page that otherwise doesn't have much color. Now this back here had this pretty jelly print, but it's all good. So I will put a paper clip on here. Currently I am out of them, but I will get a paper clip and put on here to hold that down. Otherwise it's just going to flap around when you're opening and closing the page. So that completes our first page that we've done in this Snowflake journal. It is done. How cute is that, guys? Nice and bright and cheery. I love it. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you'll come back. And I will have a playlist that I have already started for this journal. So if you want to bring up the playlist and maybe save it, or just look for it each time that I go on and make another video for this Snowflake journal. So thanks for watching, and you have a wonderful day today. Bye now.